One. Hello and welcome to the ISL Podcast. My name is Ivan Grigorishyn, your typical host, and my guest today is Bruno Fratus from the Tokyo Frog Kings. Bruno, hello, and thank you for making it here.
All right, we're here finally, eh? How's it going, man? Long time no see.
I know, right? We pretty much haven't seen each other since Budapest. We have texted, but that's on a different
Oh
note.
man, I
But
haven't seen everybody since Budapest.
no teammates at all, not even no Tokyo Frog Kings
Uh,
teammates.
no, especially not from Tokyo. I've seen some of the Brazilian guys who swam for the Centurions last season, as we were spending some time in Rio together training. But yeah, these are the only ones.
Bruno, tell me, how's training going right now for you?
Training's going all right. Looking forward for Olympic trials, which are going to happen in Rio in about 8 weeks from now. So we're caught kind of the time where you kind of see the end, the light in the end of the tunnel, but still very tired, very heavy, struggling a little bit, but just really looking forward for some taper right now.
What was the main focus after Budapest for you? Were you kind of working a little bit on your strength and conditioning, maybe? Maybe you were sharpening some technique moments. What was your
Oh,
main focus?
a lot, a lot. It was interesting to race in Budapest because we were just coming out of kind of a quarantine isolation period where I went very very out of shape, just like I imagine pretty much everyone. Being so long without a swimming pool, without proper access to training facilities, and in Budapest, I was kind of running after my conditioning, running after like being in proper shape, and somehow I was able to pull some good swims there. I was glad about it. But after Budapest, we just went back to trying to regain this Olympian kind of shape. I mean, this type of conditioning, this type of ability that we had before all this COVID period. And now with swimming pools a little bit more accessible and also gyms, we're just really looking forward to get into like Olympic game shape.
Makes sense. What is going to be your main focus coming into the Olympic Games? I mean, obviously the 50 free is going to be in there, but are you going to try for the 100 free also? Or is it just going to be the 50 free?
Oh man, yeah, definitely the 100 free. That's the apple of my eye. But I think if you're a Brazilian male nowadays, you're just crazy if you don't try to go for the 4x1 free relay, right? I mean, we have amazing swimmers. I can, from the top of my mind right now, I can name Marcelo and Pedro Spajari, who are doing amazing at this race. We also have history with Gabriel Santos, a few other guys, a little young blood coming from behind. So there's a lot of people. I think we can put a really good team together.
No, for
So
sure. It
yeah,
should be
I'm gonna
amazing.
be swimming. Yeah, I'm gonna be swimming the 100 in the trials.
Makes sense. Wow, it's going to be interesting. Did you sort of tweak your preparation a little bit this season compared to the previous seasons to account for the 100? Or did you always sort of have that 100 in the back of your mind?
Well, I'm always here and there, right? I always like to make myself available to swim the relay once I'm in the national team. I believe that once I'm in the national team, my job is not only to swim the 50 free, but I gotta be available for pretty much anything they need me. And what I can offer the best besides the 50 free is to be part of the 4x1 free. So I always had the 100 a little bit, in the back burner, never completely shut down. So right now, 8 weeks before trials, it's something really working on.
Bring 200 medley relay to the Olympic Games,
Oh
please.
no, please. We need to take events out of the Olympic Games, not
Oh,
adding
you
new.
think there's too many in swimming? I mean, in the Grand
Uh
Olympic Games, I agree with you, don't get me wrong. But in the world of
yes.
swimming,
Yes. I think well, let's are you ready for some hot takes?
hey, I'm ready.
Ready for some controversy right now? I do think I do think we have too many sports. It's getting to a point where the classic Olympic Games kind of wearing off. with sports that don't really feel belongs in the Olympics. And with swimming, it's kind of a set of mixed feelings because I do think we have a lot of events. I do think, for an 8-day competition, it's long. At the same time, it's good for swimming, right? It's good to have so much time in evidence right there. But there are a few races I'm not a big fan of. And at the same time, I do think we should put like 50 strokes in it because it brings a whole new level of excitement. But also, I guess that's what the ISL is for, right? I think the way the ISL is set up, it's all the right events happening in the right way, and that's pretty exciting.
Thank you for the compliment. But yeah, I totally agree about the point of the Olympic Games. And something else that bugs me, I don't know if it bugs you, but with all due respect, you can't value a gold medal in swimming the same way you value a gold medal in, for example, curling, just because of the fact that there's just so many less people doing that sport. Curling, I mean. And not to throw any stones in the garden of curling, but
I don't know. I like watching curling. When there's Winter Olympics happening, I do take some time watching curling. You can say it's different when you have like a whole championship happening, just like volleyball or even basketball, instead of like one race, one event. And there are different weights to medals when you have to go through a full championship. I don't know how many games, or you have to swim like 3 times to get it, but at the same way, Olympic medal is an Olympic medal, especially a gold. When you're an Olympic champion, it's different. I believe you can be crowned like the best in your generation when you're an Olympic champion, arguably the best in history. So I don't know. That's some deepest discussion we'll have to bring to our friends in the International Olympic Committee.
out of pure interest, what do you think about weight classes in martial arts in the Olympic Games? Do you think it's okay for them to have weight classes, or they should be sort of universal?
I don't know. I never gave it a thought, but if you're talking about martial arts, you do need to have some kind of weight classes, right? You do need to. It doesn't have to be like professional boxing where you pretty much have a weight class every 7.5 pounds. But yeah, you do need some weight classes, right?
But then you can argue that in swimming, a guy who's 6'5" is going to have a significant advantage on a guy who's 5'6", right? Yet we don't have anything. And it increases the medal count and the number of events for these sports.
I don't know, man. I've been dealing with racing guys much taller than myself lately, so I'll skip that one.
Exactly, you deal with it. But let's skip it. Okay, fair enough.
I don't know.
Fair enough. What do you think about the Olympic Games in general? Do you have a strong feeling that they're going to happen?
I do. Somehow I do believe the Olympics are going to happen. Somehow I do trust all the IOC efforts in making these Olympic Games happening. I think it's a great chance of being like the biggest showcase of the human ability of just surpassing something like a pandemic, something like COVID. We've been seeing. The ISL itself was a success back a few months ago when we knew arguably a little less, comparing with what we know today about COVID. So we can do something which is a little bit more television shaped, with a few restrictions, a few like sanitary regulations that need to be in place because of the whole situation. So I do think it's doable. And not only the ISL, you saw the UFC doing it it was the first big league who did something similar to it. The NBA did it, the NFL did it. So soccer is going on all over the globe.
Yeah, so, UFC was absolutely crazy for me. Such a close contact sport, and they're able to pull it off.
It was. They took a huge risk because when UFC's president Dana White, he came out and said that they were gonna carry with the championship and they were gonna try and do something that worked. My first thought was that guy was just crazy. He's just signing his own death wish, his own death note, and it was crazy, but somehow he made it work. So that only proved to me that it can be done if you do it the right way. If you have people competent enough around you, I mean, it can be done. And again, the ISL was a huge showcase for it because we're all safe in the bubble. Everything went smoothly fine. You haven't heard about any cases around. You haven't heard about any breaches in the bubble. So, I mean, it can be done. So why not the IOC, one of the biggest structures, one of the biggest organizations in the globe, cannot pull this one out? So I think it can be done.
For sure. Fight Island, tune in.
Let's go.
P.S. Dana, two new promoters right here. Please pay attention.
Exactly. just call Dana White and ask him how he did it, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, on another note though, Olympic Games is on another scale from the UFC, from the ISL. I mean,
it is a lot of people.
By decimals, even counting the staff that must be involved, it's going to be tens of thousands of people, right?
Exactly, and it's going to be worth tens of millions of dollars, euros, pounds, or whatever, But again, I think that with the right organization, right mindset, right everything, still, it can be done, it can be done, but one thing that needs to be done is that you have to completely detach yourself from the idea of the Olympic Games were into 2016. It's going to be the Olympic Games, but it's going to be like completely different now.
Did you by any chance receive any information from the IOC? And you don't have to reveal the exact information they gave you, but how it's going to look like?
There's the playbook, of course, that came out publicly, I think, last week or so. And it already shows a lot of commitment, already shows a lot of changes that are be put in place. And also our National Olympic Committee, and I believe every National Olympic Committee from each single country, it's in close contact with these athletes, and from a while back already giving some instructions and letting us know how everything's going to work, and how we should behave and what precautions we should take, and for that on.
Is it going to be a bubble format?
I know.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
We don't have to get that deep. Okay, fair enough. Bruno, on a separate tangent, I had a couple of podcasts with your Tokyo Froggy teammates, and during these podcasts, I revealed a mind-boggling truth to me. Currently, somewhere close to 80% of your team has yet to lift any weights, and people like Ryosuke Irie haven't lifted any weights for a decade.
Oh wow!
I know that you pay a lot of attention to strength and conditioning. Do you think it's possible to make it through the world of moderate swimming without doing any weights, without doing much strength and conditioning, do everything in the water?
Well, then it'll just be my opinion, right? If 80% of my Tokyo teammates have done no weights and they're as successful as they are in the swimming pool, my opinion doesn't really matter. It's just facts. They're showing it is possible. But I think swimming, you can try to make it swimming a team sport as much as you want, but in the end of the day, always going to be an individual sport, as you are swimming individually by yourself in the swimming pool, right? So preparation should be individual, the same thing. So I feel really good, and not only physically but mentally, it gives me a lot of confidence to put this much effort in my strength and conditioning program. Makes me feel strong, makes me feel confident, makes me feel more athletic, makes me feel better in the water and outside the water. I do believe it's not only about being strong, but it's about being strong, being flexible, being reactive, being having a certain level of athleticism. And for me, it works really well. And I do kind of train like an Olympic weightlifter, a little bit like a power lifter sometimes in the season. And some people around even asking if I do CrossFit or something similar, but that's just for a part of the season, approaching a competitive part of the year where I race more often. I mean, obviously I'm not going to be lifting that much weights, but it's something I like to keep on my preparation leading towards big meets.
Makes sense. Talking about your preparation in the gym, what kind of lifting do you do? Is it more like you start off with a large amount of repetitions, and then when season comes, you taper down, and it's down to 2-3 snatches, or are you a PB guy?
Yeah, I think right now I'm in a stage. The last few years, I got in a stage where I'm always lifting heavy. You know, things that change. It's more about volume, changes a lot during the year, and range of motion of a few movements change a lot. So let's say in the beginning of the season, I do work with a lot of deadlifts, deep squats, and RDLs, and single leg squats, power cleans, power snatches. And towards the end of the season, I'm more like with hex bar jumps and hang cleans, hang snatches, or out of the box, depending. I'm not doing a lot of isolated arms exercises or auxiliary exercises for specific components of the body. It's more like general, but all season long I'm lifting heavy. I'm never really go below 75-70% of the max load, and always explosive, always strong,
Yeah, that makes sense to me. When I was a swimmer myself, I felt best in the water when I would go pretty heavy for a low amount of repetitions.
Yeah, but you got to observe that's not for everybody. And if you are planning on going heavy on the gym, you just cannot do it by yourself. You need to have supervision for someone who knows who they're doing. So I don't just go to the gym and do whatever I want. I do have a strength and conditioning coach. I always have a coach with me watching me and make sure my form is perfect. So if you're at home right now, don't do anything dumb.
Yeah,
Just
because
stick to whatever your coach says.
with weightlifting, like with swimming, if you have bad form, sure it sucks, but
It hurts.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're just gonna be slower than everyone else, and you're probably gonna maybe develop issues later on. But with
Exactly.
weightlifting,
Yes.
bad form, bad form just on one day occasion can result in you having a hernia and ending your career in general. It's
Yeah.
it's
As a
quite
matter of fact,
scary.
I have two. As a matter of fact, I have two herniated discs on my back. Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
on the 2016 games, when I swam that. I think it was that 21-7 in the final or so. I had hurt myself back in February. And by the Olympic Games, I haven't still recovered from that inflamed lower back that I had got back in February. So yeah, I was hurt because of bad form, because of a negligent strength coach that was just telling me lift, 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 and it didn't really work. So after 2016, I changed coaches, changed program regarding strength, regarding conditioning, and things started to get better. Work a little bit more on especially hip mobility, thoracic mobility, and yeah, never hurt myself again. But back in 2016, my back was bad. It was super bad.
Did you ever think to get a surgery to get it removed, or?
Yes, 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 yes. That was suggested, but I had two surgeries, one each shoulder, and back surgeries are something that it's really rare for you to come back from if you still want to keep swimming at a high level. Shoulder surgeries are fine. 6 months, you're back on, but back surgeries are something else. So I didn't really want to risk it. And my case, I could get fixed with what we call some movement training and movement therapy. So, I guess I was lucky not to be that hurt, but it was still a case that can be solved with just learning how to move better.
Super scary. Back surgeries. one wrong
They
move
are.
and
They are,
you
right?
don't have any sensation on one of your legs or both.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Bruno, what is your opinion on flexibility, Pilates, yoga, and that sorts of activities for swimming?
It's great. It's great. It's amazing. I tried yoga myself. I tried Pilates myself. As a matter of fact, yoga was part of my back rehab after 2016 and got me really feeling better and moving better. It's not something I carry to this day as in like a proper yoga session and training in that part, but I do implement a lot of yoga movements into my daily routine, especially warming up to practice every day before my swim practice and before my weights, my strength practice as well. So I
Thank
think
you.
it's, as I said, swimming training must be individual to each athlete, right? You gotta just take your time to get to know your body and know know what's good for you, know what works for you. So that's something I've been really investing time in the course of the past years, because it's really important for you to be able to listen to your body and do what your body is asking, you know? So if you think yoga is good for you, Pilates is good for you, number one, I think you should definitely try it. And number two, if it's good for you, just go ahead and do it.
Makes sense, yeah. Um, what do you think about, in general, stretching in your warm up and specifically stretching before a meet? Do you do any of that? Maybe dynamic stretching?
I guess I know what you're talking about. I saw this study that came out, it was over a decade ago, that says that static stretching has interference in power generation, but there was something regarding tendons, but that's only for static stretching over 2 minutes of load, right? Something like this. I cannot remember well.
I think it was like minute 20 or something like that, they said.
Yes, something like that. But you're not gonna be static stretching for a minute 20 before a race. Just holding position right there. I do have a lot of dynamic stretching in my routine, a lot of ballistic movements where I just swing my leg, swing my arm, and also like rotate a lot. But I don't do a lot of static. I don't. I mean, I do some static for my ankles because as a swimmer, I have to be really flexible ankles. But and I have a problem with those. My ankles are a little bit more stiffer than you'd like them to be. But I think that's only that.
Makes sense, thank you. Bruno, is the reason we don't see you doing more fly the hernias?
Yes, yes. There's a very clear reason. It's because I'm slow in fly. If I were fast, if I was fast swimming fly, you'd see me doing a lot of fly. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I haven't spent that much time when I was younger developing my butterfly. I would love to. I'd love to be competitive, especially in the 50 fly. We have such an amazing field with Nick Santos in Brazil, and it'll be a lot of fun to try and give this guy a hard time swimming a 50 fly. And I say try because nobody in the world can actually give him a hard time.
Sebastian Jabel.
Sebastian?
Yeah.
Beat him?
He didn't. I don't think he beat him in a one-to-one race, but he was also at 21.8.
I think it is. Yeah, that's what I mean. You're never sure someone beat Nick in a 50 fly. You have to really research and think about it because the guy is just amazing. And but yeah, you cannot be good at something you don't train. That just doesn't happen. It doesn't. There's no. It doesn't exist a situation where you're just good at something that you don't train. So if you don't train fly, you're not gonna race fly. That's it.
I have seen Caleb Dressel beat the American record in 100 breast out of nowhere.
I guarantee you, it's not out of nowhere.
Okay, fair enough.
I guarantee you, he had done at least some breaststroke in his training.
I don't doubt it, but no, you're right.
That's actually something I love to watch. We don't know. It's fun because we talk about Caleb Dressel like if he were if he was around for ages, right? But he's just so young. And if you really think about it, he just came up in 2017, right? In that world. I'm not sure if it was a short
He
course
was
world before that in 2016,
he
where
was very famous in terms of yards.
yes. But I mean, there's not a lot that we know about his preparation and his training. And it's certainly something that intrigues me is to learn how he trains, what he does, and how I mean, how is he so great in main events? You know?
He's quite slow off season. Um, he's not a swimmer that can swim very fast all year round.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, it's Greg Troy. You know what I'm saying? It's Greg Troy.
By the way, talking about Caleb, Caleb
Uh,
is kind of notorious in the world of swimming for having an insane clean. His clean is something like 350 pounds, I think. It's large. Do you mind revealing some of your personal best lifts? Maybe clean, bench,
oh,
squats, deadlift?
I don't do a lot of I don't try a lot of PB since I mean I got hurt before. So when you try to put a PB on the weight room, the risk for injury it's something big, something that for me is not really worth it. But let's say recently I have squat 170 kilos for 2 reps, and I clean 140 full clean from the ground, full power clean with a deep catch. I mean that's what a clean is, right?
Yeah.
And for deadlift I was lifting 160, but that was for 5 reps. So yeah, I mean, bench is just like I only do bench with dumbbells, usually repping 95, 100 pound dumbbells. So yeah, I
You have
just
a
I
very
just go.
strong clean compared to your deadlift.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's because the clean was just for one, and the clean I was feeling safe to try 1 rep at max. But like the deadlift, I mean, I'm not gonna be pulling like 200 kilos off the floor, even though I believe I could, like 200, 220, somewhere around that. I mean, this man here already have his set of herniated discs, so I don't really need to be trying that.
What about in terms of deadlifts, straight bar versus hex bar?
Oh, straight bar. Hex
Straight
bar is
bar?
not even a deadlift. What you talking about? I thought you were gonna ask me about convention or sumo or something like that, but like hex bar is
I
just
think
a
I think
fully
hex bar
automated.
is safer, to be honest with you, in terms of herniated discs and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I just got into my gym mindset. Sorry, yeah, but you're right. Hex bar is much safer.
I think with
See
a
that?
hex
See,
bar, the
that's
only
what happened.
danger is it's really easy to bounce it off the floor with a heavy
Exactly.
weight. And then if you bounce it off the floor, this is how you get a hernia. But if you just avoid that, I
See,
think it's safer
that's
than
exactly
straight.
what happens. That's exactly what happens. You start talking to me about gym, I start getting competitive. You know,
Bruno, what about your weighted pull-ups? You must be doing that, right?
weighted pull-ups. Oh yeah, I did 3 with. Oh man, I was even texting my friend Ed Baxter back then. I think it was 55 kilos for 3,
Oh, that's a good one.
something like
That's
that.
really good.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight around your waist.
Just recently, the world record was somewhere around 100 kg for one.
What?
Not that far off, yeah. I think they raised the bar to like 119 right now, but
All right.
it's not that much.
So can we add 8 weighted pull-ups in the ISL maybe next season? We can try this one.
Next season, this is going to be the skin deciding process.
The
Everyone
skin is
from
not,
each
yeah.
team, yes, gets one person, and they must do a weighted pull up.
Man,
I love the
you know
idea.
what you should do. You know what you should do. It would be amazing. You know how the NFL and the NBA have a skills competition. So I don't know, man. Maybe try
ISL
like
dunk contest.
no, but let's race with kickboards or something like that. I mean, you're a full 25s underwater, something like that. But something that apart from the competition, just something to keep people entertained. I don't know how the pointing system would be on this one, but I mean, don't you want to see who's the best kicker
Listen,
in the whole field? That But just
I'm
to
pretty.
bring,
I'm pretty sure I know who the best kicker is in ISL and the
oh,
25 all out underwater. Come on, it's
oh,
gonna be
but
Caleb.
I'll put my money on Nick.
All right, all right.
I'll put my money on Nick, even though for being a full 25, I don't know if Chadwick Lowe wouldn't do it.
I put all my money on Caleb for a 25 underwater. He's just too good off the block.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We need this kind of stuff.
You're right. You're
love
right.
to
That
watch
would be
this kind of
interesting.
stuff.
That would be
Exactly.
very interesting.
Like, can we have a 4x25 relay, a 4x53 relay? What do you think? A 4x25 would be cool, man.
Listen, I'm not the one who makes the decisions, but I'm gonna
I
throw it out there.
I know. I'm just brainstorming with you.
You know, another cool event I thought it would be very entertaining to watch that actually existed prior in the Olympic setting, and would see a lot of deaths in the water because of this. But hey, it would be very entertaining. No. It's an event that you multiply the distance you traveled by the time you spent doing it, and you have to do it no breath.
What? That's
I mean, it sounds interesting to me.
Oh my god, that sounds off.
That is awful. A lot of people, I think they canceled it because people were like passing out in the water and stuff.
No, let's stick with the 4x25 relay.
Agreed.
That would be cooler.
But Bruno, let's hop into the first round of fan questions, if you don't mind.
Oh yes.
And we have one of our fans asking, which is your favorite tattoo? And you mind showing it off and sort of explaining what it means to you?
I don't know. Right now my tattoos are really faded because I'm been training under the sun and I don't really use either sunscreen or lotion after. So I'm really, really ashy right now. But I don't really have a favorite tattoo. I think I often joke and say that my favorite tattoo is my next one because I'm still excited about doing it, But I just love all my tattoos. And for me, it's almost like after I get my tattoo done, it's just a part of me. And I don't really like be observing it and looking and staring at it. It's just there and I kind of forget about it. But I don't know, maybe the one on my chest, the wave I have on my chest, it was a crazy creation process. I had no idea what was going to happen here before it was done. So I just gave complete freedom to this. It's a friend of mine that is one of the hottest tattoo artists in Brazil right now. He's been for the past decade or so. And he was just creating and drawing on my chest. And then this came out and I love it.
I'm a big fan of your tattoos, by the way. I like them quite a bit.
Okay.
You have a Dragon Ball Z tattoo, right?
I do have Goku. It's right here. So let me see if I can show you. Yeah.
Hey, maybe Bruno didn't give you a response, but this is my favorite Bruno's tattoo by far.
Yeah, man, Goku.
Are you an anime fan in general? Do you watch anything else instead of apart from Dragon Ball Z?
No, this tattoo, this Goku tattoo happened because I'm not really super into anime nowadays, but I was when I was a kid. And it was really part of me growing up. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the boys listening to me right now, they're going to understand that I had, growing up as a young teenager, young swimmer, I had Goku almost like a role model and idol of mine, So it's almost like that saying what Goku would do, and always do the right thing and always work the hardest and things like this. So that's something that means a lot to me.
I totally agree with you. I had the same thing when I was growing up. It was Naruto for me, not Dragon Ball Z, but same concept, yeah.
See, you're a little younger than me. I mean, when I was stopping watching cartoons, when I stopped watching anime, Naruto was just like on his first season. So for me, it was Yu Yu Hakusho. I used to follow. Yeah, that was a dark one, man. I was afraid of this one. That would scare me.
What about Berserk? Have you seen Berserk?
Yes, Berserk.
That's a dark and good one, right?
Yeah. It's one of my favorites, actually.
Mine too.
Yeah, good stuff.
There you go. Next fan question, Bruno. What are your 3 most memorable performances in your life? 3 most memorable races?
Budapest, for sure. And 2000,
2017, right?
yeah, 2017, the both races in Budapest, both finals actually. When I s- Actually when I say races, I think I mean the whole set of like prelims, semis, and finals. So the relay was one definitely. I think we could achieve something that I never saw in my life in that national team of mine. There was this feeling of unity, this feeling of swimming for each other, and the belief we had in each other. And the 53 was I was just feeling good with myself, and I was just ready to flow. And 2014, we had this meet in Australia, the Pen Packs, and that was really a big breakthrough for me because it was the very first big meet I ever won. So it was really important for me, and what made me get to that stage, that mindset, and the physical platform I was at to win that race. It was it was it was a breakthrough season overall that was crowded in that race, but it's hard to get three races when you've been racing for so long like I am. I can think of 10 maybe. I mean, there are Pan Americans, there are national championships. The first time I was Brazilian champion back in 2011 was huge for me too. So I think every successful race has a special place in my heart, and also every not so good race had taught me a lot.
What about that one time you beat the personal best time of Alexander Popov? I remember you telling that was a big thing for you, right?
Yeah, that was a big one. That was a big one. Growing up, Alex Popov was my idol. So when I first swam faster than 2164, there was something special for me. Even more because it was without the rubber suit, so there was no question about it. I was legit faster than 2164.
No, 100%. There's nothing taking you away from that.
Yeah,
Bruno, one more fan question. One of our fans is wondering, it would be fair to state that you're a person that has a lot of lactic acid after their races, right? Especially
yeah.
after something like 100 free. So one of our fans wants to know, what is your process after race? How to flush it out? What do you do?
Well, there are a few lines of study. The most recent ones tell you that you don't need to flush it at all. So
Really?
yeah, yeah, lactic acid, it's something that you need to perform. It's something that can be used as fuel in the body to athletic performance, so you don't really need to fuel that. But with that being said, you need to train to behave like this. You need to train your body to behave like this. If you don't train like this and you just decide just not to cool down after a race randomly, you're gonna be done by finals.
Wow.
So yeah, there are athletes like, if you see, I think Jesse Puts been training like this in the Netherlands. Andrei Govorov trains like this, and there are a few others that I heard about it. And I've heard Pernil Bloom talking about it in the past. So there are a few athletes that they don't really do a lot of warm up, they don't really do a lot of cool down, and they're able to perform. Myself personally, I like to swim a little more. I feel better with myself when I swim a little more. I mean, easy swimming after a race makes me feel better to perform in finals. I tried the strategy where you just don't cool down, and that made me really, I don't know what would be the proper word, but I just felt really like heavy and buff, you know.
At some
So
point we did actually a set at university where you do like 8 100s all out, and in between you have 5 minutes, but you're not allowed to move.
oh yeah, I did a few of this. Yeah, you're not allowed to cool down in between sets just because you want to keep building lactate, and that's important too. But it also always comes down to what you do in practice, you know. I mean, if you practice a certain type of way, you just gotta follow the same line of thinking during race day, you know. So what I do personally, I like to swim a little bit more. I like to, if it's after 100 free, it does help me to get ice baths. I really do well with ice baths. And it's funny because after racing, I like ice baths, but after a hard session of training, I just go straight to the sauna. And it helps me relax really well.
Makes total
But
sense to me.
yeah, after race, ice baths, depending on how you feel, massage can be good, can be helpful, and drinking water. Always drinking water, eating good food, and have a good old nap. I mean, I just woke up from before this live. I just woke up from a 2-hour nap myself. So napping, it's not a privilege when you're a swimmer. You just have to nap. If you don't take your nap in the middle of the day, you're not going to perform.
Really, I've heard a lot of debate in terms of this. I've heard a lot of opinions who say that napping during the day is actually counterproductive to your performance, and the fact that you don't get into deep sleep during your nap prohibits you from falling into that deep sleep when you sleep during the night. Also,
was that a swimmer telling you that?
No, this was actually at university.
See, that's exactly what I mean.
I nap. Don't get me wrong. I nap, and I nap during my swimming career. I think it's essential. But
anytime that a swimmer tell you he or she doesn't like to nap, you send it straight to the doctor because that's not normal. Swimmers nap and swimmers eat. Period.
Do you ever suffer from insomnia?
No, never. I mean, everybody have rough nights, right? Where you cannot sleep well, or you're too hot, or you're too cold, or you're too uncomfortable, or your body is too beat up from practice. But insomnia, never.
I know a couple of people who are actually in the ISL right now. I won't be revealing them, but they suffer from insomnia, and they say that they don't sleep during the day because if they sleep during the day, there's no way they're falling asleep at night.
Oh wow,
it's
a tough
terrible double whammy for them. Yeah.
No, man. I sleep. Sometimes I sleep too much. Sometimes I eat too much too.
Bruno, talking about your eating, I'm now a follower of your Instagram page, and you make me salivate every evening with your posts. Do you cook this food yourself? Are you like a 5-star Michelin chef that we're not aware of?
I'm not a 5-star Michelin chef yet, but I'll get there. I'll get there someday, hopefully. I do like cooking. I do like cooking a lot. My mom, she's a chef, but my mom, oh my gosh, she cooks heavenly. But she professionally, she went towards the sweets and cakes, and also she's a pastry chef. And I got a lot of the cooking skills from her, and watching her doing stuff when I was a child, and she was teaching me how to do everything. I mean, nowadays it's still, I'm in the middle of the process of something, and I still call her to ask about the recipe or what she thinks I should be doing. And I think it runs in the family a little bit. And plus, my dad is Italian, so yeah, it's a deep relationship with food.
Bruno, your dad is Italian. Your mom is a pastry chef. How do you maintain such a perfect body? This is unexplainable in my mind.
Doing those cool downs, those extra swimming, the cool downs we just talked about, burning some extra calories, I guess.
What about your actual diet? Do you follow any diet? What about, and like, do you have any?
I try to follow specific diets, having like a time and a specific meal for every occasion. And but I just found out that for me specifically, it doesn't really work out because, I mean, as a swimmer who travels a lot and who like goes up and down in training intensity and volume, you cannot be eating the same thing pretty much every day, right? You have to vary a lot. So instead of going with diets, I'm also lucky enough, I'm married to a health coach who's also one of my swim coaches. And Michelle helped me, Michelle, her name, And Michelle helped me develop this program for myself that it's more about habits, eating habits, than specific diets and restrictions and like waiting food and all. So coincidentally enough, when I started to focus on my eating habits and my lifestyle instead of specific diet and restriction, I started to swim faster. So I started to feel much better about my body and I started to do much better at practice. So for me, it's not about diet, it's about learning what to eat, when to eat, and learning about the same way I try to learn about training and what works for me. I try to learn about food and the consequences of that food on my body.
Do you think it's paramount in your performance? Like it's very important?
It is. It is. Yeah, 100%. 100%. That same old thing that people usually say, you're not going to put cheap fuel in a racing car, right? So you just got to put the best fuel there.
No, you're totally right. I've seen swimmers pull it off with a very, very shitty diet. Um, we had one guy went for Vela, but he was school record holder on the 200 fly, and the only thing he ate was plain pasta. Some people just pull it off.
Yeah.
Bruno, one more question. What do you think of the new draft system that exists within the ISL?
The new draft system, I'll have to yet see it.
Okay, let me. You know how you know what it is, though, right?
Enlighten me.
So each team gets to keep 15 swimmers on their roster from the roster of the previous year, disregarding of gender.
That's like half the roster.
Half of the roster, pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
Then the fans get to pick one more additional swimmer out of the remaining that get to stay on the roster. And after this, everyone who didn't get picked goes to the open pool, draft pool, just like I don't know, just like a rookie would in the ISL would.
Yeah.
A rookie to the ISL also goes to the open pool. And then the team that got last season gets the first pick. Then what happens is the second worst team, I don't want to call it worst, but second to last team that from last season, the next round is once again the last team plus second to last, then 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, 4.
That's good. That can work. I see that working. But those swimmers that are capped, they would have to sign longer term contracts, right?
I mean that would be up for cooperation with the league and with the club itself. It could be a 1-year contract, 2-year contract, or a 10-year contract. Up to how you make negotiations.
I like that.
Do you think that will even up the playing field a little bit?
I think so. Yeah. These first 2 seasons, you could clearly see who was going to be in the final from the first match. I think planning the field is something that will bring something. I mean, not only more excitement, but also more real reliability, to the whole league itself.
I was really hoping for the Tokyo Frog Kings to make it to the final because I found out from your general manager that apparently half of the Tokyo Frog team had to leave right after semis because they had a Japanese nationals, and it would have been such a treat seeing Vlad, Simona Kubova, Leah Smith just do all of the events. It would be a treat.
Yeah. That was a good team, right? The Tokyo Frog Kings, they're definitely a good team, and there's a lot of potential in that kid. I mean, if you stop and think Shoma Sato, he's what, 19?
Oh, they're all quite young, outside of some exceptions like Ryosuke or Shinri.
This kid just swam not only once, but he just swam a few 206, 200 breast long course. I mean, he's an animal. Can you imagine, like, when he become a more mature athlete on his peak, what he's going to be able to pull off? Especially during the league, racing short course back to back like that.
Really?
It's going to be amazing.
You think this was most impressive? What about, I think his name was Kosuke Matsui, the 50 freestyler in your team? That guy blew my mind.
Why?
Did you because he's not very large in stature, let's put it this way. He doesn't lift a lot of weights. Yes, he was the best in the entire ISL off the block. Maybe Caleb rivaling him.
No, Matsui was unbelievable off the block. You're right about that. Yes.
I was blown from it. I still don't understand why he's so successful at it. I think it's because of the angle or something.
No, he's the only swimmer I've ever seen that was able to go regularly below 0.60 reaction time every time. That's something really, really impressive. What I'm saying about Shoma, it's because, I mean, he's super young. So if you talk to him, you can see that he doesn't have as much experience as most of the swimmers, you know? And even though he had unbelievable swims, and also after the ISL season, he kept growing faster and faster and faster in his event, right? The 200 breast. So what I'm saying is that kid has potential to, you just mentioned a 10-year contract, right? So that kid has potential to do something special, you know, and keep doing special things.
That would be a power move from the Tokyo Frog Kings. Just sign Shoma Sato for the next 10 years. That's a lot of confidence in one swimmer.
Sign EDA for the next 10 years. Make the guy swim until he's 40. This is also great.
Sign Nicolas Santos for another 10 years.
Hey,
I'll
sign Nick for another 20 years if I could, because I just put my money on him.
He is getting better every year, so it might be dangerous to see what happens in 20 years. Maybe Nicolas Santos would be jackpotting everyone in the 50 fly every single time he swims.
I don't know. If I ever see a Brazilian team coming up, I'll probably ask Nick if he's about to retire and put him as a GM.
That would be amazing. I don't know Nick personally, but he seems like a personality.
Yeah. Nick, I'll put my money in Nick as an athlete, and I guess I could double the money as a GM.
Would you like to see a Brazilian ISL team? Do you think there should be something like that?
I think, if you allow me, I think it's almost necessary to have a Brazilian team in the league. It's just one of those things, you know. It's just personality and fast swimming, and we'll be able to bring a complete different level of energy to the league. You know, don't get me wrong, we have amazing people, we have amazing teams, but there's just something. I mean, you got to recognize it, man. There's just something mythical about us, right? I mean, a Brazilian team in the league, that would be dangerous.
Especially your fans would be dangerous. I can already imagine everything green on the stands. You guys in the final.
Yeah. Oh, in sport events we use yellow.
Yellow. Okay, fair enough. Bruno.
Have a few.
This is perfect. This is perfect.
Here.
I was just about to go to the blitz. Speaking about you being a busy athlete and a busy dog dad. And my first question of the blitz is, do you have a pet? And
I do have a pet. This is Carlos right here. And he's one. And Harrison, it's under here somewhere, but I cannot carry Harrison because he's about 50 kilos.
50
kilos of a dog. So he's not really easy to put him on my lap.
What kind of dog is that once again?
I don't know. He's a mutt. We just adopted him out of a Humane Society shelter. So
50 kilo is a big dog.
Yeah, he does look like a mix of a German Shepherd with a pit bull and a big pit bull. Think about a big pit bull with pointy ears. That's what Harrison is.
That sounds like a natural born killer.
Yeah, and Carlos just, I don't know. I think you're a dog, right? Are you a dog? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're a dog.
Carlos seems very intelligent.
He is. Somehow he's trying to talk to you right now.
He wants to be on the podcast, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone, we have a new guest, Carlos. But Bruno, next question. How much on average do you train per session?
You're talking about distance?
Yeah. Yardage, kilometers, meters.
I don't know. Lately has been something around 4 to 6,000.
That's quite a lot,
Yeah,
especially for a sprinter.
Yeah, 4 to 6,000 long course meters. And gym wise is going about an hour and a half, 2 hours in the gym. And we have shorter sessions also. We had sessions, we call it the power sessions, where we do basically sprint work and they last for about 40 minutes in the water. So it's I don't think it's nothing out of normal, nothing that you haven't heard before.
Okay. When Mr. Andrei Govorov trained with you guys, did he also do the 4 to 6K diet in a way, or he was less?
Oh no, he can take it. He'll be passing out before that.
Let's leave it at that. What about your weekly schedule? How many times a week do you swim? How many times a week do you hit the gym?
So usually 4 times a week in the gym, and I have 2 more dry land sets. I do that. They're outside the gym, but in the turf with medicine balls, sleds, and all. And I do something physical every day, pretty much. And I do doubles from 2 to 4 times a week. So it's
have a day off?
Usually, no. Usually I don't have any days off, completely off. As I say, I end up doing something physical,
Makes sense. What is your personal preference? Long course meters, short course meters, yards?
Long course meters, 100%.
Fair enough. What is your favorite event to swim, and what is your favorite event to spectate?
Favorite event to swim, 50 freestyle? I don't know, to watch pretty much anything. I think every event is different. I do like to watch the 100 fly, the 100 breast, the 50 fly. I do like to watch the 200 free. And I do like to watch the mile sometimes when some of the guys I know are racing, when Mika is racing and Greg Paltrinieri is racing. It's something I really like to watch. And I'm just a swim fan overall, man. If swimming's on TV, I'm watching.
Gregorio Paltrinieri is one of my favorite swimmers to follow also.
Yeah,
it seems like he's going all out from the first meter, and I'm just waiting till he dies. And everyone else dies, but Gregorio doesn't. It's
yeah, he just dies. He just dies with a little more class.
Maybe he only dies inside.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Thank you. It's interesting. Somewhere close to 60 or 70% of the swimmers I've asked, what is your favorite event to spectate? They've mentioned the mile. It's an interesting.
The mile is interesting because I think the mile works well when you're a swimmer to watch, because you know what's happening there.
It's very
I wonder
strategic.
how it is. Yes, you wanna see the splits. You wanna see the strategy, right? I think it must be difficult for someone who's not swimming related to watch a mile and understand what's actually happening there. But for us swimmers, I like.
Fair enough.
Man, I got myself watching open water once.
They have the most entertaining relays. Have you seen the open water relays?
Yeah, I saw the relays. It was during Worlds, and in Kazan, I was following the race because a very close friend of mine was racing, and she actually won the race. Mm-hmm. So I was out loud watching it and cheering.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of open water swimming. I think it's very interesting because it's like swimming, except there's a little bit of like pushing around involved, a little bit of underwater fighting involved.
I've seen a couple black eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I've seen a couple of.
We should put a 50 free with no lane lines. What do you think about that?
We have.
Well, let's just if we do that, let's just keep Flohaman Adu out of the mix. He's just too big. Then we're gonna need weight classes. See how everything just bonds together?
Yeah, This is where we introduce weight classes. I love it.
Weight classes, that's right.
Let's pump up the medal count of swimming in Olympic Games to 150, 200 medals. That would be nice.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, Bruno, how old were you when you started swimming?
11 when I started training, and about 4 or 5 when I had my first contact with like actual swim lessons.
What do you call actually starting training?
Like training for meets, training like with a goal,
Makes sense. Did you have a childhood idol? And if you had, who was it?
I cannot Goku.
Goku.
Yeah, I cannot remember having a real life idol growing up. I had a lot of references of very successful swimmers of that age, especially not only swimmers but also sports in general. But no one who sticks out.
Now I have a favorite response. I don't have to think about it ever. It's Goku for Bruno.
Goku, that is.
Thank you. Bruno, what is your favorite sport to spectate and to do outside of swimming?
So I spectate MMA and boxing, 100%. And I would call it playoffs NBA. And to do outside swimming, I think when I retire, my sport of choice is going to be Olympic weightlifting.
Okay.
I think that's going to be it.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Especially after swimming, it's so rewarding in a way, especially mentally when you hit a PR in weightlifting.
Yeah.
By the way, can we get a professional prediction for the 6th of March UFC, Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya?
I think Adesanya, man. He's just a better fighter overall.
What about the Polish power?
That's it. He's a juggernaut. He's just a juggernaut. And Adesanya had fought juggernauts before. He had fought Paulo Costa, and he made Paulo Costa look bad.
Yoel Romero was another juggernaut, though, and Izzy pretty much ran away from him, right?
Yeah, but he won the fight.
He did.
That's what matters.
That overhand right, though, in the end of the first round, it seemed like that was scary.
Exactly, but he still won the fight. So I think Adesanya is going to go for this one.
Thank you, Bruno. And ladies and gentlemen, this was Bruno Fratus for you. Thank you so much, Bruno. That hour flew by, let me tell you that. You're very entertaining to talk to. Thank you so much.
We had longer conversations at the league back in Budapest. We could sit down, right, and be like for a pretty much entire day.
Hey, don't get me wrong, there's some censorship going on here right now also. That was not present in Budapest.
Cool. Yeah.
But,
so yeah, man, enjoy Kyiv right now. Stay warm. All right, looking forward to meet you again around the world for next season.
For sure, it's coming up. But Bruno, before I let you go, any final words to the Tokyo Frog Kings fans and to your personal fans?
Keep following you guys. I mean, we do what we do because of you guys. We do what we do because we get all kinds of positive and loving response from all of you. So certainly that's not only me, but we all appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much, Bruno. And to everyone watching, our next podcast is going to be this Sunday. Tune in, it's going to be an interesting one. It's a new format. We're going to talk to a couple of high-level coaches about the new trends in swimming technique and preparation for swim meets. It should be interesting. Tune in this Sunday. And our next athlete podcast will happen the upcoming Wednesday. Tune in also. And thank you so much for joining. Bruno, thank you so much for being part, and we'll see you in the next podcast.
All right. See you around.